But the flip side is people start cutting rates, you start easing conditions, bond yields start to fall everywhere, the dollar starts to fall. That eases
the dollar's in a bear market now.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right. Now it means it eases financial conditions for everybody. That drives the business cycle. As the business cycle.
Hi everyone, welcome back to this video from Finance Wolf. Raoul Pal talks about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. Raoul explores the potential of cryptocurrencies beyond the well-known ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum, highlighting the unrealized potential of low-float tokens and the transformative power of blockchain in reshaping economic design and value creation. He projects that the cryptocurrency market will reach a valuation of $100 trillion by 2032. In an interview conducted by her friend, Tusa Jane emphasizes the potential of blockchain technology to coordinate token economic design and capture value. In particular, she focuses on the Solana platform and the productive assets of the decentralized finance DeFi sector. According to Pal's forecast, the cryptocurrency market would reach $100 trillion by 2032, a substantial growth from its current $2 trillion. He underlined the importance of looking for possibilities. In addition to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, he emphasized how hedge funds may find alpha and efficiently manage risks in order to profit from this surge. My friend brought out the fact that hedge funds have money on the line and must prioritize returns according to risk. He also talked about the behavioral economics of network effect and token value, implying that there is still a lot to learn about them. Low-float coins were recognized by Raoul Pal as a promising option due to their established potential and skilled financial analysis. He expects rapid expansion and the ability to create value of over $50 trillion, which would eclipse Bitcoin and many other things. Raoul Pal talks, so please watch the entire video and feel free to share it. And please subscribe to our Finance Wolf channel.
Right now. Yeah, so very simply, something I call the everything code is from 2008, we had a global debt reset. Now, as opposed to letting go of all the debts, what they did was cut interest rates to zero and said nobody needs to pay interest rates. Okay, that was a huge advantage for the system, and everybody reset their debts for this 3 to 5 year sector. So then the debt refi cycle, when they have to refinance the interest payments and the debts, drive the business cycle. The business cycle has always been the credit cycle. So now it's become almost perfectly 4 years. The only other time in history it was perfect like this was back in the 50s and 60s after World War II and the financial repression then. So there's financial repression going on, but it goes in this 4 year cycle. The 4 year cycle happens to be the crypto cycle, the US election cycle. It's all the same thing. So it doesn't matter what you label it, but there is a cycle that's going on, and we're just coming into it now, which is we've now got $10 trillion of debt to refi. You have to refi the interest payments. Usually what they do is they inject enough liquidity into the system to pay for this, because there's not enough GDP growth to pay for it all. And so we go on to the next cycle. So that's really what drives all assets right now. Everything is basically correlated. But out of that, there's one asset that does a lot better because it's got the secular adoption curve, which is crypto, plus the macro tailwind of debasement of currency and the cycle. So that's where we are in the cycle now. Zoning into election year. Well, this is when they start giving out money. They also have a lot of refi to do. So it tends to be a very good back end of the election year. And then the following year tends to be very, very strong too. But this is a global thing as well. Every major central bank is refining their debts in the same cycle. The Europeans, the Japanese, the Canadians, the Brits, and the Chinese. Now, what you always look for in these refi cycles is who's the weakest link, because they're likely the ones to do the most stimulus. It's probably China this time around. Just came on the tapes just now. I think Felix actually just tweeted it out. There was a Bloomberg story that I've been talking about for a while, is the US and China have agreed to kind of help each other. So we know the Chinese need to stimulate.
What did they say?
Well, they've said, let me see if I can find the exact tweet.
Felix?
It said, it was exactly what I've been writing about in GMI. They said, China's central bank says a meeting in Shanghai produced an agreement with the US Treasury to appoint contact people to deal with any future financial stress events.
For almost a week, the price of Bitcoin has been fluctuating within a small range as traders examine different market signals. These signals include the potential for the U.S. government and the now-defunct cryptocurrency exchange to sell a sizable portion of their holdings. Since August 28th, the price of Bitcoin has been bouncing between $60,000 and $57,000, with $57,600 serving as support and $6,200 serving as resistance. This suggests that traders are unsure about the direction the market will take next. A primary element that adds to this ambiguity is the market's inconsistent fundamental signals, which lean towards the negative. In September, the U.S. Federal Reserve and Mt. Gox plan to introduce an additional supply of 249,000 Bitcoin, or $14.53 billion, should the market find it difficult to absorb the new supply. On the plus side, however, the U.S. Federal Reserve meeting on September 19th could act as a catalyst for the market should they decide to lower interest rates, which could potentially increase demand for assets like Bitcoin that do not generate returns. The continuing impasse between Bitcoin fans and skeptics is mostly due to this contradictory information, as well as a growth in supply and the possibility of increased demand. For those unfamiliar with the phrase, this is known as the market value to realized value ratio. It appears that the price of Bitcoin is stagnating because the market has reached a condition of equilibrium regarding investor profitability, as shown by the glass node. The MVRV ratio is a useful indicator for assessing investors' average unrealized profits over a 2-year period. Lately, it has stayed near to its long-term average of 1.72, which has historically signaled a change in market patterns from bullish to bearish. When the MVRV ratio remains close to this value, it indicates the market. In other words, investors are less likely to make significant buying or selling decisions as the potential for significant gains or losses is diminished. This frequently results in a period of consolidation and price stagnation. The market sentiment is neutral, with no strong bullish or bearish momentum. Let's return to the interview with Raoul Pal.
And it's all dollar debts, right? So they've got a dollar shortage. And what they're basically saying here is the Fed will get dollars. I think this is one of the reasons what Japan has been doing in the yen as well, because the euro dollar market is driven through the Japanese bank. I was looking at
2 or something, right?
Yeah, I was looking at the 10-year bond rate, which is actually a big influence on the crypto price, bizarrely. And 10-year yields in China are at like 2.1% or something, and they just look like they're going to approximately zero. And we know this because this is the Japan playbook, right? When you've got an aging population aging as fast as that, you've actually lost control of your growth engine. So the natural rate of interest rates has to be much lower. And what we're seeing now is the flip side of everything that Dan's saying. So picks up, people have more earnings, they invest stuff, markets go up, and that pattern has always gone on, the business cycle. Combination between governments and central banks, these are not separated entities anymore. So one group needs to refi the debt and add new debt, the other group has to make sure it's managed. So the Treasury, you see, liquidity in the US is Fed net liquidity, which is the Treasury General Account, which is the Treasury, which is the reverse repo, which is somewhere in between the Treasury and the Fed, and there's quantitative and the use of the balance sheet. So they're all three joined at the hip, and they manage that liquidity flow to manage this process. And Dan's right, because they know is once they start unleashing the spigots, then the reflexive buildup happens. And guess what? It generates capital gains. They get capital gains tax. It starts financing deficits. It's kind of, this cycle is the clearest I've ever seen macro in my life, because it's so cyclical. Now, does that last forever? Probably not. But right now, it seems the most clear I've ever seen it. You don't have to worry about the shit that Dan and I used to worry about.
Bitcoin's price has been moving sideways lately, which aligns with the decrease in open interest OI and funding rates in the futures market. The OI dropped from over $30 billion to around $29.4 billion between August 28th and September 2, while the funding rates of Bitcoin fluctuated between positive and negative levels during the same period calculated every 8 hours. The decrease in open interest indicates a lack of confidence among traders as they are opening fewer new contracts. This reflects a cautious approach, or market participants are hesitant to take new positions due to the absence of clear momentum. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's funding rates are fluctuating between positive and negative levels, indicating no strong preference for long or short positions in the futures market. Therefore, the combination of declining open interest and unstable funding rates reinforces the notion that the market is uncertain. Traders are probably waiting on the sidelines for a clear catalyst that will drive the price towards a definitive correction. If this video has taught you anything, please like it and subscribe to Finance Wolf. We'll see you in the future video.